Blaine, it goes without saying what LaVell Edwards accomplished as a football coach in changing the way the game was played and establishing the West Coast offense and the straight back passing attack. All of that's great, but I think what everybody's talking about now is the impact he had on individuals' lives beyond football. What are you thinking right now about the news of LaVell Edwards passing today?
It's just I have such a heavy heart. It's like losing an uncle or even a father. Sorry, guys. I was going to keep it together for you, Ben.
No,
it's completely understandable.
Understandably, this is shocking and, words. It's hard to find the words.
Yeah, Coach was, as far as football, he was a genius. I mean, we all know that. He was a genius. He was so far ahead of his time in football. And the impact he had on the passing game in football still is part of the game, what he did there. But the style that he coached with was one where he's going to leave a legacy of love. He loved his players. He cared about his players. He cared about his coaching staff. And everybody knew that. And at a time when he came in, when coaches were coaching through intimidation and scare tactics and making you nervous for your job, he didn't go there at all. He had a genuine interest in every person as an individual. And so you had a relationship with him. And because of that, you would just go out and play your heart out because you didn't want to disappoint him. You didn't play hard because you were nervous that your job was going to be taken away if you didn't play hard. You played hard because you didn't want to disappoint the man that put that confidence in you. So he was, I mean, the best way to describe it, he's a man of greatness with no ego, and that is so rare in the sports world and in the business world today. Somebody that has accomplished so much and had accomplished so much, but went about everything that he did with zero ego. It was never about him. It was always about you. It was always about whoever he was with. And because of that, he's got this broad range of relationships across, not just in football, across the world of people that respect and love him because of the love that he gave to them. Everybody in turn loved him back.
Blaine, we always hear stories of, whether it was during his time as a coach or after he had left the coaching profession, that regardless of the situation, he was extremely approachable. You could talk to him, and you referenced some of that. His door was always open to a former player or a fan or whatever the case may be. What was the person LaVell Edwards like to be around on a daily basis?
He was just warm and caring and kind. And those have been around him a lot. And it's funny, you get to know him when you're a player, probably better than most coaches that you get to know as a player. Because when you go in for meetings with Coach Edwards, he doesn't start with football. He starts to see about things that are going on in your life when you're a player, about how things are going in school, what's going on with your family, what's your dating life like. If you were married, how is the family doing? How you knew that he had a genuine interest. And then the thing about Coach Edwards that people don't know is his because he cared so much, he wasn't just asking these questions to make you feel comfortable. He really cared. From that point forward, if you talked about something with Coach, he would remember that. He would remember extended family. He would remember a problem that you had, and he'd come back and talk to you about it. He really, really cared about the individual. That's what made him not just a great football coach, but a great man.
Blaine Fowler with us on BYU Sports Nation via the Deseret First Credit Union hotline, discussing the legacy and life of LaVell Edwards, who has passed away at the age of 86. Blaine, a couple of years ago, I had a chance to sit down with LaVell in Studio A here at BYU Broadcasting and talk to him for over an hour. And it's maybe the most enjoyable interview I've ever conducted in my professional broadcasting career. And the thing that I remember most from that is how intently he listened to everything I said and then when I asked him, what will you remember most about coaching? And I brought up all of his accolades and the stadium being named after him. And very quickly he pointed out, it will always be about the relationships. And it will always be about the impact that those young men had on my life. Not so much that he had on others' lives, but there was nothing disingenuous about it. He was 100% genuine, and and I'm sure you felt that 100-fold to what I felt in that moment.
Yeah, when you came to BYU, you became part of the LaVell Edwards family. Not just the BYU football family was just an extension of LaVell's family, and you felt like there was this family environment. And coaches came through the program and left, and he always treated them when they left like they were part of the family. And if you played at BYU and you got to know LaVell, then you were forever in that family. So my relationship with he and Patty and the family has grown stronger through the years, because just because you're done with your time there doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're out of his family. He considers all of the players that ever played for him, that he's ever had relationships with, as part of that family. And even the players that played in the Gary Croton and then Bronco Mendenhall and now the Kalani Sitake era, he considers them part of his family. And that's the beauty of LaVell Edwards, and he's just so inclusive and so caring that it turned into, it was a great formula for him, because it turned into tremendous success on the field, because all the motivation you needed to play hard was that you just didn't want to disappoint the man, and you wanted to go to deliver, because he gave the trust in, put the trust in you that you would go deliver and play well and work hard for him. You didn't want to disappoint him. So you did it. You worked hard. You played hard. You do anything you could to make him right for putting the trust in you. And it was a great formula. I think it's a formula that still works today. And I see a lot of LaVell Edwards and Kalani Sitake now, because Kalani learned at the knee of LaVell Edwards of how you treat people and the way you do it. And I see a lot of LaVell Edwards reflected in him right now. And really, you look at LaVell, his real family. I feel like we're all his real family, but his kids, John and Jimmy and Ann, I got to know really, really well. Ann's a fantastic writer. Jim's an outstanding attorney. John is a really, really high-level orthopedic surgeon, one of the best in the business. His kids have had unbelievable success professionally and personally because of the way, the influence that he had on him, the way that he and Patty raised their kids. That's all you need to know about him to know that he was a great man. Just look at his family, and you know that he's a great man.
Blaine, we appreciate the time and understandably emotional experience for you, and we look forward to commemorating and remembering and celebrating LaVell Edwards in the days coming and really forever. But we thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, guys. One of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.